Hello, this is Dr. Lori. Welcome to this video on independent versus dependent variables. I wanted to throw this in here because I think a lot of students are often confused about how to use those words independent and dependent. And so part of this is just really learning how to speak the language of evidence-based public health, epidemiology, biostatistics. But you'll hear people talking about independent and dependent variables. And so let's go over some of the common ways that those words are used. In terms of the independent variable, that is also known as the predictor variable, or the explanatory variable, or the exposure. And so being a predictor is independent of whether somebody gets the disease or not. It's just kind of like this thing that happens or something that somebody chooses. Whereas the outcome, the dependent variable, which could also be considered the response or the disease, that is considered to be dependent on whether somebody was exposed to that particular independent variable. And this is one way that students have told me that they remember this. For example, lung cancer is dependent on whether somebody was a smoker. And so the lung cancer, the outcome, that disease, is the dependent variable, and it depends on whether they were a smoker when they were younger or not. Another thing that you'll run into is that the dependent variable is, when we're doing mathematical equations, the dependent variable is the y and the independent variable is the x. So if you remember in math class, if you remember the equation for the slope of a line, y equals mx plus b, we'll get to the point where you actually see that. But this y and this x are this y and this x as well. And so the dependent variable is considered to be y. That's the outcome, the response, the disease. And so y is dependent on whether somebody was exposed to X or not. And so that's one easy way to remember dependent versus independent. Because those words are so similar, it's easy to get them confused, but it's part of needing to speak the language of the evidence-based public health person. So I hope this short video has been helpful.